Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Junior Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2 in the Silver Storm colorway. Now open up the box, and on the inside, you'll immediately notice that all you get are the shoes themselves, unlike the men's version of the Phantom 2 that would include a string bag, as well as a little tag that lets you know that the graphic on the base of the sole plate will wear off over time. More on that in just a second, but like I mentioned, all you get in the box are the shoes themselves. So we'll get these guys out of the box really quickly, and we'll take a closer look at the first ever mid-cut youth shoe that Nike has released to the public, the Junior Hypervenom Phantom 2. Now, the first major comparison to make with the men's version of the Phantom 2 is the price. The men's Phantom 2 retails at $275 US, whereas the youth variation retails at significantly less, $150 US. So definitely a big price difference. And with that price difference comes a lot more changes than I think a lot of you guys might expect. Now, before we get into the video where I will be covering all of the tech specs and what you should know about this shoe prior to making your decision on purchasing a pair, is I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer saying that the tech specs and the pictures that are shown and listed at any retailer, including Nike's own website, are completely wrong from what the final product actually is. So regardless of what you've read or seen online, just know that if you do order a pair, this is what you'll receive. And like I said, the tech specs that are listed are completely wrong, which I will be showing and explaining in today's video. So if you guys are perhaps interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. That'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you will find Buy It Now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these up below their normal $150 retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. So what exactly are you getting for your $150 with the Junior Hypervenom Phantom? Now, you should know that the Junior Hypervenom Phantom is not just a shrunk down version of the men's Phantom 2. There are some significant differences here, and essentially what the Junior Phantom 2 is, it's a combination of, like I said, the men's version of the Phantom 2, as well as the Fatal 2DF, as well as kind of its own custom blend for the junior sizing in general. So to start things off, let's talk about the collar. This is the first mid-cut shoe in a youth form or youth sizing that has been available from Nike, and it's made from the same Flyknit material that you're going to find on the men's version. It's the exact same thing, just shrunk down a little bit, a slightly smaller scale. So it's still elasticated, it's still Flyknit, it still features the same pattern, it still has the seam slightly off-centered from directly going across the back of your Achilles tendon, which feels a lot more comfortable. And the construction on the inside of the shoe is pretty much the same as well. You have an internal synthetic leather lining with a decent amount of padding back there. And just like the men's version, even though I can't try them on because these are a size 5 US, where I normally wear a 9 US, it is going to require some bit of kind of getting used to break-in period, if you will, where they will feel a little bit strange at first because the fit and just sensation of wearing them is different from a normal pair of soccer cleats. And like I mentioned as well, you do have the elasticated Flyknit running through the middle of the shoe where the tongue would normally be positioned as well. So that is it when it comes to comparing the Junior Phantom 2 to the men's Phantom 2. Those are the only similarities, which I think may surprise a few people. So let's get this out of the equation. Now, when you're talking about the Fatal 2DF, a takedown model of the Phantom 2, this is not a shoe that's available in a youth variation. You're probably wondering, what does this shoe and this shoe have in common? And the answer to that question is the upper, believe it or not. The Junior Phantom 2, despite what websites have it listed as, is not made from Nike skin. It's made from the same Mirage synthetic that you're going to find on the Fatal takedown models within the men's Hypervenom lineup. Now, this may come as quite a big surprise, and some of you guys may not believe me, but I'll show you so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So with the men's Hypervenom Phantom that I have right here, you can see the upper, you can see the texturing, you can see the way that it's made, you can see the actual texturing of the Flyknit material, or the Flyknit cables, sorry, that are running directly through the middle of the actual shoe itself. And of course, the shoe does have the Nike skin branding on there. Now, with the Junior Hypervenom, you can find that the upper does not have the same kind of distinctive texturing to the upper. It doesn't have the same feel. and most importantly, it doesn't have the same thickness. If you look at the Fatal 2 DF or just the Fatal in general, this is of course the men's variation, it has the exact same texturing, the exact same finish, all the same embossed lines on the upper. And if you look at the side profile, here's a side profile of the men's version. You can see it's got some decent thickness to it. Here's a look at the youth version. It has the exact same thickness. And then here's a look at the Nike skin here on the men's version of the Phantom 2. It's significantly thinner. So what you're getting here on the Junior Hypervenom Phantom 2 is actually the Mirage synthetic upper taken from the Fatal models in the men's lineup. I know this sounds confusing, but that's the reality here. You can see even the construction around the heel is the same here on the Junior Hypervenom, where it's actually stitched around the collar area as opposed to being fused on like you're going to find on the men's variation. That's because they've used a different material. They've essentially taken the construction of the Fatal 2 DF, minus, of course, the elasticated collar. They've replaced that with a higher quality Flyknit material, but like I said, have maintained the exact same upper, which I think is going to bum a lot of people out, but I still would say that this is a very premium feeling shoe, just because it isn't the same as the top end model. The Mirage synthetic that they've implemented here still does feel pretty good, and you still get the Flywire cables running through there as well, so I would expect the responsiveness and just overall feel of the shoe to be top notch, especially for a youth model. One thing to note is that the shoe does not have ACC all conditions control. You won't find it here on the Fatal 2 DF or Fatal 2 in general, and you won't find it here on the Youth Phantom 2 as well. So it's another feature that's been eliminated coming from the men's variation of the Phantom 2. Still have an internal plastic heel counter, as you guys can see. The overall visuals of the shoe look pretty much identical to, I guess, more the Fatal 2 DF, but of course if you look at the bottom, you're going to find that it does have that graphic continued through the sole plate like you're going to find on the Phantom 2. Now, like I mentioned earlier in the video, they don't include any tags that let you know that this pattern on the bottom will wear off like they have on the Phantom 2 for the men's variation. And that's because on the men's version, the graphics actually printed on top of the glass nylon sole plate and the P-Bax stud plate on top. In the case of the Junior Hypervenom Phantom 2, it's not actually made from a glass nylon material or P-Bax. It's made from a standard TPU plastic material, and this comes down to scale. With a junior shoe, you have to have more flexible materials. When you take something like the glass nylon found on the Hypervenom Phantom 2, which is stiff as it is in a larger size, the smaller and smaller you make it, the less flexible it's going to be. It's going to be very, very stiff. So if you were to shrink it down to a size 5 like we have right here, the sole wouldn't be able to bend at all. So that's why they've gone for the material change, and because it is a more traditional TPU plastic material, they can go with a translucent coloring, which means that they can put the actual pattern underneath the sole plate, something that they're not able to do with the glass nylon material because it has to be a solid color. They can't make it translucent, which is why they have to print the graphic on top. So it's kind of like with the Predator Instinct, where you have that cool graphic on the bottom of the shoe kind of underneath the clear TPU plastic. That's the same thing that's happening here on the Junior Phantom 2. So the graphic won't actually wear off. It's underneath the sole plate, which I guess is a good thing in the long run, but it doesn't, like I said, have the same sole plate, which again, probably a better thing in the long run because obviously Nike felt that it would be too stiff on this shoe and it just wouldn't perform properly in a smaller form factor. As far as the stud pattern is concerned, it's the same layout as what you're going to find on the men's version of the Hypervenom Phantom, obviously just shrunk down a little bit. But what is kind of interesting is actually the shape and size of the studs. Normally with a youth shoe versus a men's shoe, a firm ground variation I should say, the studs are smaller, but on this Junior Hypervenom Phantom, the studs are exactly the same size as what you're going to find on the men's version, just like I said, kind of closer together to fit the scale of the actual shoe. So that's kind of interesting. It's a very, very aggressive stud pattern for a youth shoe. You can see the studs are very long. They just look long on this smaller size that I'm holding here. And if traction is what you're looking for, if you're looking for plenty of bite and just longer studs in general, that's exactly what you're going to get here from the Junior Hypervenom Phantom 2. Definitely more of an aggressive stud pattern than what you're going to find from pretty much any other youth model that I've personally ever seen or held in my hands. Now, as far as the fit and overall shape of the shoe is concerned, because these are a size 5 US, I can't actually try them on and tell you guys how they fit or feel on feet. I would expect it to feel very similar to the men's variation. So if you've watched my videos on the Fatal 2 DF, I'll leave an annotation on screen. I would expect them to feel very similar to that particular shoe, with of course a slightly different sole plate, which shouldn't impact the feel of the shoe on your feet all that much. It just may feel a little bit more flexible. But overall, I'm really happy with this variation as a whole. I think it's a little bit strange that they would call it the Phantom 2 and make so many different changes. I don't see any particular reason why they couldn't have used the same Nike skin upper found on the standard men's variation of the Phantom 2. So they did kind of cheap out in that regard with this junior model. But overall, it obviously does look like the high-end Phantom 2. It has that mid-cut design, which is what I think a lot of youth players or people who wear this particular size shoe were looking for the last year or so, since Nike originally released the Magista Obra and Superfly 4. And again, just know that when you are buying the junior version of the Phantom 2, it isn't necessarily just a smaller size of the actual men's version of the Phantom 2. There are some pretty significant differences. Here's a quick look at the removable insole that I forgot to show you guys. It's pretty much the exact same insole you're going to find on the men's version of the Phantom 2. Same graphic on top, same mesh liner, and the same foam material, obviously just in a smaller form factor. Nothing fancy as far as insoles go, but it does get the job done, and the quality seems to be pretty decent as well. In terms of weight, while the two shoes that I have here are very different in size, I thought it'd be fun to see what the weight difference actually is between the men's version of the Phantom 2 in a size 9 US and the junior version of the Phantom 2 in a size 5 US. So we'll start off with the men's version, throw it on the scale, and you can see that they weigh in at 7.8 ounces, the equivalent of 221 grams, relatively lightweight. So we'll change the units on the scale back to ounces, pull these off, and we'll throw on the junior Hypervenom Phantom 2, again, a size 5 US versus a 9 US, and they weigh in at 7.1 ounces, which isn't a lot lighter than what we found with the 9 US in the Phantom 2. That is the equivalent of 201 grams. So of course they are lighter. That is what you'd expect to be the case with a shoe that is so much smaller than the men's version of the Phantom 2 that I just weighed here. But with that being said, because this shoe doesn't use the same materials, they're not quite as thin, and the sole plate itself is not made from the same glass nylon material or a P-Bax. It's made from a much more heavy TPU plastic. It is not as proportionally lightweight, if you will. So the construction isn't as light as what you're going to find from the men's version of the Phantom 2. Is it still a lightweight shoe? Absolutely. But is it as light as it could be if they were to just shrink down the men's version of the Phantom 2 and leave the construction exactly the way it is? No. If this was a size 5 US, they would be significantly lighter than what the Phantom 2 junior variation actually ended up being. So just keep that in mind if you are planning on ordering a pair. They're still light as far as high-end youth shoes go, but they're certainly not as light as they could have been. Alright guys, that's it for my review of the junior Nike Hypervenom Phantom 2. Again, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, check out the review page on my website. It'll be the very first link down below in the description of this video. On that page, you'll find high quality images of this exact pair that I took myself, give you a better idea as to how these do look in person. And you will, of course, also find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you will be able to pick these up below their normal retail price. So again, if you're interested in a pair, first link down below in the description, go ahead and check it out. If you have any other questions regarding the Phantom 2 junior variation, leave them down below in the comment section, and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video, and as always, thanks for watching.